Well, Benjamin Cowan is issuing a Cardano warning. I always say, careful if you disagree with Ben Cowan's math, because he's not just like pulling up random analysts or random candles. He's the one creating a some sort of math equation where it's like divided and exponents, and there's like 7 letters. There's an A, there's a B, there's an X, there's a Y, there's a Z, there's a J, all types of crazy math. And then he comes up with some complicated thing, and he's like, this is what the price is going to do. So when someone is putting that much effort into it, don't just dismiss it because of a feeling. I have a feeling it's going up to $5. Well, that guy said, it's probably only going to go up to 2. He's an idiot. What's your evidence? I got a feeling. Well, what's his evidence? Well, he did like this crazy complicated math thing. All right, so back to Ben Cowan, highly respected mathematician here. He says ADA is repeating hard times of 2019. And then here we have a metaverse, I guess. All right, in a new strategy session, I would say in a new video, he's arguing that Cardano is yet to find a bottom by comparing its 2023 price action to its market structure of the second half of 2019, when ADA kept finding new lows, aka going back about 4 years within the 4-year cycle. Here we're going to quote him. Second half of 2019 was probably the hardest part of the cycle because it wasn't very exciting. You simply watched the altcoin market slowly bleed out. There were certainly a lot of pumps. I mean, no shortage of pumps. We had tons of them. He's talking like Trump there. I mean, no shortage of pumps. We had tons of pumps. This one right here is the best pump at 41%. This one right here was 40% as well. We had a lot of pumps like that, and they ultimately still got faded. According to Ben Cowan, ADA rallied in 2023, similar to 2019, when the token formed a double top pattern and then dipped below the bull market support band, which in technical analysis is the combination of the 20-week simple moving average and the 21-week exponential moving average. That's some serious. I never would have thought about combining a 1-week differential with a simple moving average and an exponential moving average. That's just odd math stuff that, hey, that's leave it for the quants. He highlighted how ADA didn't bottom against Bitcoin until the third quarter of 2019 and stayed at those lows for another 6 months before rallying, which he says could play out for ADA again in the near market cycle. Here is where I'm going to say I disagree with the guy I just said is doing all the smart math, but I'm not just coming with a feeling. I got a feeling. Hit the like. I said 4 years is actually closer to 3 years and 10 months. Q3 of 2019, if it's within the first 2 months of Q3, if it's July and it's August, that puts us in Q2 of 2023, which puts us into that local low that we had before XRP pumped everything. And I think the SEC coins are probably going to stay out of those lows. That's just, so I got a couple things going on here. We got the 3-year, 10-month cycle. Well, we're closer to, the current moment now that was the Q3. Second thing, the SEC enforcement actions, everybody got a little pump. Maybe it's going to be hard to bleed those Satoshis a second time around. That being said, though, it's going to be interesting to watch. I think we're both pretty bullish on Cardano. Cohen is smart, but not trade based on his. Well, you know what? I would, because he told. He's giving me some good advice.
Out of curiosity, so you keep saying September. Did his article say September?
No, he says Q3.
Q3. Well,
July, August, September.
If you go to the price action on the charts, because you're right, it's more like 10.5 months, close to 3 and 11 months, the 3 and 11 month cycle. But the bottom of Cardano, this right here is the pandemic. Cardano got a big, walloping during the pandemic. But the bottom that Cardano had after that pre-bull market rally in 2019 is December of 2019. That's end of quarter 4. We bottomed out the week of December 16th.
Pulling it up right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, the severity, we dropped in quarter 3. Quarter 3 is when Cardano went from hitting a peak and then started falling. So what I think, if I'm going to continue to if we're going to go with this scenario that Ben Cowan is correct, and we're going to see a repeat, and we're looking for a 3-year, 10-month, or 11-month cycle, the bottom would be October or November of this year, and that would stay on pace because the bottom back in 19 was in December.
Yeah. I think he's more talking about we're going to mimic this period where you see right at the beginning of Q3. This is the 10th of July. This is July 3rd, the very beginning of Q3. And then what happens? So all the way until the end of down, August, September 30th. So it just goes down. So you're saying it was a very rough quarter. Maybe we're in a similar quarter right now, but he might have been talking at the Bitcoin price chart. I have the USD price chart, so we probably need to do some BTC price charts as well. But either way, ADA, it could be painful before there's some glimmer of hope at the end. Is not just going to be off to the races to $5. So if you're hoping for Cardano, the bottom's in, we're going straight to $5. There's a lot of data points saying, hey, it could be ugly, could get real ugly, folks. All right, yeah. Drew, do you have any price predictions? I say $7
for Cardano.
Cardano next bull top.
Oh yeah, I'm putting it somewhere between $8 to $10. I'm going to say a little bit on the lower side, say $8. I think is where I'm kind of looking for Cardano to get to, and that's a big thing here. I know Crow's going to come on here and we'll talk more about this, but
is he? Drew?
No, he dropped off.
He's had camera. We've dealt with this before. We all jump on ATB at like 5 or 4:45, and I think he had camera issues last time. So
yeah,
I think he had to get on the horn with BJ, and so yeah, we'll get him back though. But it's all right. We're still doing the ADA deep dive here. Cardano is growing under the harshest conditions, according to Charles Hoskinson, similar to my terrarium. All right, critics are unrelenting in the resolve to spread fear, uncertainty, and doubt about the blockchain. And founder Chucky is stepping up to counter the FUD with facts. Responding to a recent Twitter chat stemming from a YouTube video that alleged Cardano DeFi has no total value locked. That's a lie. I am participating in Cardano DeFi. Sure, it's only 7 Chainlink worth, but I'm still participating in DeFi. And that institutions were not interested in the protocol. Hoskins has said there's a lot of noise in the crypto ecosystem. It sounds like a lot of crybabies to me. Looks like from January 23 to June 23, the total value locked growth happened. It was 148%. Meanwhile, Binance Smart Chain on the way down, Ethereum on the way down, Solana up 50%, Polygon up 20%, Tron largely flat, Avalanche down 12%. I would assume Algorand is also down heavy too. Hoskin also likened the development of efforts of Cardano to those of Bitcoin. According to him, Cardano blockchain is driving its innovations in a completely decentralized manner like Bitcoin, a jab at the critics who may note that the protocol's administration is centralized. All right, guys, we'll get back to the video here in just 1 second. But before we go to the next topic, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Stake. I've been having a great time playing all their games. They got some pretty cool offerings. You're going to want to check it out. So let's get back to the story at hand, though. Fight for dominance continues. Steady building is the goal with general aim of dominating the DeFi and NFT ecosystems, among others. Shout out to the junkies there. Cardano's approach is simple, and it hinges on driving a highly decentralized network of developers to build usable products for the real world, like Book.io. Over the course of the past year, a number of exciting products have been launched to double down on this mission. Some of the projects include Zed stablecoin, which I am currently staking on MinSwap. Along with the equal amount of ADA and the Marlowe smart contract protocol, Hydra Head, and its dedicated wallet, Cardano Lace wallet, among others. So Cardano, it is building. Don't believe all the FUD. All right. And then here we have notable portion of Amazon Web Services hosted stake is located in the US and Ireland for most blockchains. In the case of Cardano, India, Sweden, Germany, Japan, and Canada are also represented. So look at Solana. That's almost everything is just Ireland. Ireland has some pretty cheap data centers, if you're wondering what's up with Ireland there. Aptos looks a little bit like a color rainbow. Still heavy in Ireland. Near, a little bit better than Solana.
Yeah.
Avalanche, whoa, man, they really love Other. So actually, that's actually pretty good because Other is a amalgamation of everything else. But the blue section is United States. So it looks like pretty heavy. Cardano, though, probably the most attractive looking pizza. If you were to say you got to hire somebody who sliced these as pizza slices, Cardano wins hands down. That guy, he's clearly drunk slicing the pizza. That guy, I think he had an eating disorder and he kept the most for himself there. IOHK, what do we have here? NASDAQ. You know, Johnny did say, delete some windows if it takes a while. IOHK launches Cardano blockchain ADA, now trading on Bittrex. This is the OG day ADA launched on an exchange. This happened October 2nd, 2017. Of course, they had the Japanese ICO, so some people, but this is talking about being able to be traded on a chain. So yesterday, ADA begun trading on the U.S. regulated exchange Bittrex. The 10,000 ADA voucher holders who participated in the earlier crowd sale can now download the Cardano wallet and use that to redeem their tokens and begin trading. So at the peak, this was about $33,000. I wonder what it took to get that 10K ADA voucher there. Hoskin was an early founder of ETH. He left the project before the network launch and eventually went on to form IOHK with Jeremy Wood in 2014. In the following year, they were approached by Japanese business people interested in creating a blockchain that would function as a crypto and smart contract platform. So that's why they did the ICO in Japan there. So they hired IOHK to build software to assist with compliance during the sale. Japanese firm was enlisted to coordinate the sale, and then another entity, Cardano Foundation, handled oversight. The crowd sale, which ran from September 2015 to January 2017, raised $62 million and resulted in the sale of roughly $30 billion ADA vouchers, or 30 billion ADA vouchers. Only 45 billion ADA will ever be in circulations. But because none were sold to U.S. citizens, it didn't fall under SEC rules. I'm trying to look for some stuff they say anything about the price, but it doesn't look like they pulled up the price. I do know Crow did participate in the ICO, if I'm not mistaken. There's a couple other people that did as well that have been on the show. So I'll try to talk to them and see if we can figure out some prices there. Does anyone know in chat what they ended up charging? Skilly Child used to work for Smithfield. Man, how long till your vehicle quit stinking? Real question there. No, it's like a pizza delivery guy. If you deliver pizza for 2 years, your car might stink for 4 years. What top 3 CNFTs do you see going into the next bull run? Clay, Space Buds, and then the next one's tough. Junkies, of course, to the moon. But if I had to say, who's actually going crazy with their building because they have a team of 50 or more, it's a toss up between Kopi and Book.io. Probably, I would throw it up between those. What are your thoughts? Building something.
I mean, I know a lot of people are really into the 88 inmates. What are your thoughts about inmates?
I haven't really looked into it in over a year, I want to say. I was looking at them. I think they tried to get me to, talk about it on NFT Alpha. I don't know if we ever did. So it was a long, long time ago. So I haven't really looked at that one. I do know T-Shroom likes it.
T-Shroom likes it. I said there's a lot of people in the Investing Bros community that are really into it. And I'm in their Discord.
I'd buy
pretty
Clay
active
Lands.
Discord.
I would buy Clay Lands if I was looking to spend a small amount. Like if you want to get some cool NFTs under $50, you can get Metaverse Lands in the Clayverse. Which has Snoop on board and stuff. So it's pretty cool chain. Cool. And of course, JPEG junkies, they're going for pretty cheap too. $15, $20. So you want some cool catchphrases, give it to a buddy, give it to a friend. It's a pretty cool gift. All right. And also that DAO they're working on some special things that as an American citizen, going through Cardano issues, folks. It's just like, I'm not in Japan. So, I'll let the DAO speak for what the DAO does. I don't want to have any kind of confliction here with any American authorities there. Oh, yeah, they're doing it in America. It's a security. Shut them down. We don't want that. All right, let's see more Cardano stuff. Cardano locked and DeFi protocols hits an all-time high. It was all off my 4 Chainlink worth of ZHED that I staked. So you have me to thank for me pushing us to the new stratosphere. Where are we at on crypto? All right, crypto tools time. Anything else you want to say about ADA?
Well, I was going to ask you because we did kind of talk about tops. What are your thoughts about where we could get to when it comes to bottoms? Do you think the bottom is in on Cardano? Do you think we go lower?
I think the bottom already happened. I don't think we go. I even think that flash crash to 21 cents was maybe that last opportunity you're going to have to get some cheap ADA under 25 cents. Maybe it goes under a quarter again. I just think it's going to be difficult for it to go below a quarter. Okay. I really don't think it's going to go to 10 cents, 15 cents. What price can I see it retrace to? It just retraced to 21 cents. So I would say there's pretty strong support. There's a lot of buy books there. There's probably going to be people say, dang it, I wish I could have bought some of that 21 cent Cardano. Let me put a bunch of buy orders at 22 cents. And so it might not even go below 22, 23 cents there.